Let's move on to the second type of prototype, and this is a proof of concept. The fundamental difference is this one works. It's the first attempt at producing a real-world usable prototype, which will give you an indication of how the product will look at the end of the production process. It's going to include product features before jumping into development, which is of course hugely expensive. Functionalities should all be there, but it's not going to be as efficient, as artistically designed, or as durable. It's not designed to be used by many people over many hours. It's purely designed to show proof of concept. This is what you have said you're going to produce, and this is the first working model of it. This working model allows you to share knowledge among the team. So for example, you could take your proof of concept and share it among your team, and that allows them to gain a deeper understanding into what you're trying to produce. And you can therefore get feedback and get ideas and possibly improve the product and move on to the next iteration. It allows you to explore emerging technologies. How can emerging technologies be used within this product? And obviously for the client, this is something you can share with the client and say, look, this is where we are. So at this stage of the process, this is where we think the end product's going to be. It could be something along these lines. Could we get some feedback on it? So it's a really useful way of liaising with the client and keeping the client in the loop. Benefits. It's a sample that can be evaluated. It can be tested by users, and it enables users and testers to share their feedback in order to make improvements. So with each step, you build a working prototype, you can share it, you can test it, you get feedback from the users, you change your prototype, you produce another one, you share it with the users, and it's this stepwise way in which a game will actually be improved over time before it goes into final production. Here's an example of a video game which is at this stage. You can see that the graphics are very simple, but the basic gameplay is there. The final game will be much more polished. It'll look far better. It'll have had a lot more time and effort and money thrown at the graphics and at the user interface and so on, but actually the main part of the gameplay is held within this working model here. Here's another example of a board game, and you can see that it's not as robust as the final version will be, but it's playable. You can actually play this. You've got the dice, you've got the pieces, you've got all of the tokens and everything else you might need for the final game. And it's really important that you do this because, as we have established before, this isn't like building a bridge where you work out everything before you build it, and then you build it. You might encounter problems, but you should be able to foresee most of them. With game design, you're not going to know how good the game is until you've played it. Because with all the best will in the world and all the best ideas in the world, your game might be dreadful, and you won't know until you've played it. Benefits. It assists you in making documentation for the final game. So when you play it, suddenly writing the help files or the how to play the game document becomes an awful lot easier to do. The more that you produce these prototypes, the more accurate your estimation will be of the duration of the project, and you're less likely to take costly mistakes into the production process. And that is really such an important reason that people actually make these prototypes, is that it just saves money. And it means you don't get into production and then realise you've made a fundamental error, which means you've got to have a redesign and then run the production again, which is hugely expensive. You want to get a production being 100% certain about the product that you're making and that it does what you thought it was going to do and what you stated it would do. Identify problems to reduce the cost and the length of the product. Make changes before it's put into production, explore ideas, obtain feedback, and to make changes to the game. So those are the key areas that you want to explore, and for this one, really all that you're doing is showing an understanding of the two different types of prototypes, what the prototypes allow you to test, and the benefits of the two different prototypes. This, of course, you'll need to show understanding by putting it into your own words.